Hey everyone, Zhongli's rerun is finally here and I want to dedicate this video in helping those who are pulling for him as well as those who have him to deal more damage with him. So without further ado, let us begin. The first thing I want to speak about is the topic of Zhongli having either an HP sans or attack sans. Now I know many people give Zhongli an HP sans, which I do understand and does make sense, but in terms of damage, Zhongli will be losing a lot of damage without an attack sans, and I will prove this by demonstrating this with Masanori.
Order guide you. I will have order.
The attack percent build did 17,810 more damage than the HP percent build, and that is not because of the measly 6% crit damage. 6% crit damage does not merit almost an 18,000 damage difference. The reason for the huge difference is because Zhongli scales off attack far better than he does on HP. Now the damage difference between an attack sans and an HP sans will vary for everyone, but the truth of the matter is that Zhongli scales off attack better than he does in HP in terms of damage. You might have expected the HP percent build to outdamage the attack percent build due to Zhongli scaling with HP. Yet, if you look at his talent, Dominance of Earth, you will see that Zhongli's damage is increased by just a fraction of his max HP. The main chunk of his damage comes from his attack scaling. I understand that an HP sense is given to him to increase his shield strength, but there are other ways to increase his shield strength while not sacrificing his damage. Firstly, you can utilize the Geo Resonance through adding another Geo character to your party, such as Albedo, the Geo Traveler, Noel, Ito, and so on. I highly recommend having this resonance as it is very strong. With it, you get increased shield strength, increased damage while protected by a shield, and enemies have a decreased geo resistance. It's honestly amazing and something you should absolutely run. Next is to have HP percent as your artifact substats. With this, you'll get the benefits of a strengthened shield thanks to the HP, while still maintaining the great damage of an attack percent sans. I recommend to have Zhongli have around 23,000 HP. I personally run him around 24,000 to 25,000 simply because I think the high HP and high attack looks really cool. Lastly is to level up Zhongli to level 90. Now I know this is a huge investment and normally I would advise against it, but since Zhongli does scale off 2 stats, attack and HP, one level to 90, both stats will be increased. So the difference for Zhongli at level 90 will be greater than say for characters that just scale off attack. So one level to 90, Zhongli's shield strength will increase as his HP will increase, and his damage will also increase as both his attack and HP will of course increase also. And to quickly preface, if you ask me, someone who has pulled Zhongli since his first banner and who has played with him for far longer than I'd like to admit to, his shield is strong enough with just an attack percentage sense and without the Geo Resonance. His shield will struggle in certain areas such as the weekly bosses, for example the strong attacks of Agedaha or Dvalin, but aside from these specific scenarios, his shield is strong enough with just an attack percentage sense and with decent enough investment. Now onto artifact sets. A common artifact set used on Zhongli is the Tenacity of the Millilith. Now this artifact set is decent on him, but it does hinder his damage. Yes, the HP and attack boost is great, but in terms of the attack boost, which in my opinion is the most important aspect of this artifact set, it is fairly hit or miss. The reason being is in certain scenarios when Zhongli casts his pillar, it will be destroyed immediately. Additionally, when casting his pillar, enemies will be moving around all over the place, so more often than not, enemies won't actually be able to get hit by the pillar, and thus the 4-piece set won't actually trigger. Thus, usually Zhongli will actually just be running around with a 2-piece set bonus, which in terms of damage is not that great. Also, this set does not increase important stats for Zhongli, such as Geo damage or burst damage. This can be attained with the better alternatives I recommend, that being 2-piece Archaic Petra and 2-piece Noblesse Oblige, 2-piece Archaic Petra and 2-piece Gladiator, 2-piece Noblesse and 2-piece Gladiator, lastly 4-piece of Emblem Severed Fate. All of these sets should be run with attack percentage sense, and the stats you want are the usual: crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, HP percent, though I would recommend prioritizing attack over HP, and lastly energy recharge, as energy recharge is always nice to have. As for which artifact set you should give your Zhongli, I recommend giving Zhongli whichever artifact set you have the best artifacts for, and which caveats of the artifact set impact you the least. For example, the Emblem of Severed Fate is great, as the 20% energy recharge will allow you to spam his burst, and with energy recharge as a substat, his burst will greatly increase. Yet, this set will only buff his burst. It is not like the other 3 mentioned sets, where it will buff all aspects of Zhongli's kit. Say for instance buffing his normal attacks, buffing his skill, or buffing his burst. I personally run the Gladiators and Noblesse Oblige as my best artifacts are of those sets. As for weapons, truthfully many of them are good on Zhongli except the white tassel, the blue tassel, and the Katane Cross Spear, which is the Inazuma craftable polearm. The reason being for the first two is that they are 3-star weapons, therefore their base attack is very low and it takes a hit on Zhongli's damage. As for the Katane Cross Spear, it buffs his skill damage, which is not an important aspect of his kit, and the spear has elemental mastery, which for him being Geo is basically useless. An easy recommendation would be to give Zhongli any 5-star polearm you have. A ranking of the 5-star polearms would be Staff of Homa, Primordial Jadewing Spear, Shenhe's Weapon, and the Skyward Spine. But do note, in terms of the Skyward Spine, you do have to be somewhat careful for it, as in regards to the catch, sometimes the catch actually out DPSs the Skyward Spine, so I'd recommend testing the two and seeing whichever does more damage, and of course using that one. I know some of these polearms are not free-to-play friendly, and the only reason I mention these polearms is for your knowledge so that you may know which polearm is best. Even so, I highly recommend to not spend money on a limited 5-star polearm simply because of the Primordial Jadewing Spear. This weapon exists in the standard banner and it is amazing on him. Not only is it very strong for him, it looks amazing on him, and it only deals slightly less damage than the Staff of Homa. In terms of 4 stars, the catch is easily the best and which you should give Zhongli if possible. Though the grind may be annoying, it is certainly worth it. Next, the Black F pull is also a good option as it has a substat of crit damage and its effect increases attack once you defeat an enemy. Yet, it costs Star Glitter, which you could use instead for more wishes. Instead, I greatly recommend the Favoni's Lance or the Prototype Star Glitter. The reason being is that their effects are good alongside having great energy recharge, and energy recharge is great on Zhongli as with it you're able to spam your burst. Now an increase in energy recharge may not increase your burst damage, but it will increase your overall or rotation damage as you're now able to spam Zhongli's burst more often than usual. And that is everything. I hope you all enjoyed the video, learned something new, and are now able to deal more damage with your Zhongli. If you have any questions, by all means ask them in the comments and I will answer. And tell me if the damage increase your Zhongli has had. Hopefully you're all able to pull him. Thank you all for watching, take care, and thank you once again.